Hey Lolo. What's up, everyone? Get a little more of the cat in there rather than a book. Uh. Oh boy. Man, Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup chat was too depressing. You joke about talking about aging, and they actually just run with it, man. Shit. Yeah, I saw that, Barrett, but I feel like you already did that. I mean, there's just no way. There's no way anyone. I don't know. I don't want to say anyone because I believe that some people have truly come back, but it's just so unlikely that anyone who's not played StarCraft 2 in a while would suddenly enjoy StarCraft 2 again. Oh, it's just a joke. Home Story Cup was actually fine. The chat was fine. We were talking about taxes and businesses and like adult stuff. And I joked, now that we're done talking about taxes, let's talk about how our parents are aging. And people actually did. And I was like, no. You were able to watch Return of the King all before the first action taken in StarCraft 2. That's the goal. It was funny. As you all saw, I'm casting. Well, maybe you didn't quite see, but I am casting the StarCraft. What's it called? StarCraft for All. One of the earliest reach outs ever. I'm just mostly, looking to hang out with old friends again. We got a minute to the start of the game, but fights will be over in 10 seconds. You're gonna like your instant action, or you're gonna get out. Fired. Bad news, kickball. The kickball team did not win the championship. You're cute, Zig. His little upside down swimming. My hands kind of smell. I used eucalyptus lotion. Eucalyptus and spearmint. So I don't think he appreciates the way that my hand smells. That's always a weird sentence. Ziggy is life goals. I too wish I had every need taken care of. And all I had to do was sleep. I did not sleep well last night at all. Let's blame the intern of the patch for that. Well, we won our first game, but the second game in the bracket was against kind of like a little bit of the douchey team. But they also just had like 3 or 4 more people, which really means a lot for defense. Actually being able to cover the outfield is a pretty big thing. But they're such tryhards. I actually just can't. I still can't believe it. They weren't straight up. They weren't mean. They weren't really douchey. They just kind of like over celebrated and did some like annoying shit. But the most absurd thing about this team was that I assume this guy was injured, so he couldn't play. Maybe he would have played if he wasn't injured. But they have a legitimate coach for their cup in hand kickball team. I mean, a guy who shows up with a whistle, a clipboard, a lineup sheet, tracks, you know, what happened in each inning, gives advice, and I'm just like, you guys don't realize how stupid this is? I mean, this guy was even like habitually like covering his mouth with his keyboard, like he was hiding from like the you know, us, I guess, from reading the plans. I was just like, what is happening? So sweaty. I mean, you know, to be fair, if that's your goal, if that's what brings you joy, is coaching rather than playing, there's not many opportunities to coach, to be fair. Maybe that's the thing that brings him joy. But it looks so try hard. As the two players calling people sweaty, this would be the equivalent of me joining a viewer tournament on a whim and then not just like playing and being like, oh, that was fun, but then actually being like, can I have the full 15 minutes that I get before I'm walked over to study my opponent? Thank you. And it's like, I gotta like dig deep to find like Joe Schmo 69's account. Or actually having a coach who's like there talking to me in between rounds, like, you got this, ZombieGrub. Come on, you know, you gotta believe in yourself. If you're gonna win this viewer tournament with $5 on the line, you gotta believe in yourself. Now you want to coach StarCraft 2 with leaguers? Again, it's like, I mean, I can't ignore the idea that someone's, you know, enjoyment is coaching, and belittling them for enjoying coaching cup in hand social kickball. Maybe I'm the real douchebag. You gotta make sure to see the other perspective, guys. Anyway, we got ourselves some StarCraft history. Like temple. What am I doing currently? I forgot. What am I doing? I was going through my document and filling in all of the gaps of the quotes. So, Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, we're still going over so many things. Nothing is actually finished. I added a bunch more about the very, very early days of StarCraft. I found out I found a couple more sources. Where was the I found an interview with Samjong, who is the first good StarCraft player. Then, okay, so there's this whole other thing. So I figured out that the KPGA, the Korean Pro Gamers Association, is what eventually turned into KESPA. There is also tournaments happening before the broadcast tournaments. And one of the things that was happening was called actually the Korea Professional Gamers League, which is different from the association. And apparently this, hosted tournaments. It also ran alongside another game league that was run by IPACnet and PC Bong Chains. And then in 1997, North America had the PGL, Professional Gamers League, which was initially just Quake, but then they got into StarCraft. And then I found this guy's nice list of basically all of the early StarCraft Brood War tournaments. Any sources that he could find, blogs, interviews, and the winners of all of them. So we're talking the Brood War beta. Which I think is pretty impressive research, and I'm glad he did it because I definitely wasn't going to continue doing it. And there's a part 2 in this as well. So, yeah, Maynard, the StarCraft 2. Caster is not this Maynard. Yeah. So Maynard, the StarCraft 2 commentator, is spelled with an E. Maynard, the singer of Tool, right? But then also the guy who invented Maynarding is a different guy. Yes, Maynard that invented Maynarding. But he did more than that, as the podcast will tell you. He brought along the novel idea that you shouldn't stop building workers. So he was pretty good. So I added that. And then I added a bunch of other stuff last night, as anyone in my Discord might have seen. Trying to trace this KESPA thing. I tried really hard to find any more sources for KESPA being a big, asshole to NBC Game, but I couldn't. So we just have to kind of be like, allegedly. Yeah. This thing stopped working. I don't know why I have it up. What am I doing? Doing this. When I invented building more than one production facility per type. That would be hard to find. I haven't seen anyone referencing that. What does it take to find these old resources? Going down a lot of rabbit holes. So usually a link leads to a link that leads to a link. I started to collect, I would go to, obviously, Wikipedia, and then Wikipedia would have some links. But then Namu would also have a lot more information. So I started to go to Namu. And then Korean Wikipedia also has a lot more details. So basically now I kind of just, I tell Claude to find me the references in all three websites. Well, I don't really need him to find Wikipedia for me, but the other two, and then look at the links. When it comes to like the research, like this article, for instance, that I found, this essay, it just happens kind of randomly. Like you Google the right thing, and then a link pops up, and you're like, okay, this seems interesting. And then it's it's a actual published work. And then they also, they obviously reference all the other published works. And some of them can actually, are just like links that you can click on and you can find them. And then some are hidden behind paywalls. Wayback Machine's definitely used. Not as much as you might think. Maybe like 20% of stuff I've had to use the Wayback Machine on. Maybe less, actually. Well, Warcraft doesn't have nearly as much of building multiple buildings, though. Like, StarCraft definitely is way more of the building, the same building. The 3-1-1, right? It doesn't not happen in Warcraft, but I don't think there's actually, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I hardly ever see a Warcraft game build like 3 barracks. 2, maybe? 2 Ancients of War, maybe? Not 3. So, as far as figuring out that that's the best way to do it in StarCraft versus Warcraft, but then I don't know what other RTSs were doing, because there was like Command and Conquer and Dune. Mm-hmm. Okay, I claim that the Korean government focused on telecommunications and internet infrastructure in response to the crisis. Oh, yeah, that's not true. They did it before the crisis. Okay, so I didn't get that wrong. Mm-hmm. Nets Club. Earned a starring role in national television advertisement for internet provider Cornet. Is that Sumjung? Yeah, that's Sumjung. Yeah. All right. Hi. Control F. Okay. And like Samjang, who won the first official ladder tournament. Appeared in a national TV ad. And then I did not write that the Korean government actually helped the first WCG. The Korean Ministry Culture, Sports, and Tourism. And Samsung. Ladder tournament? Yeah, a tournament that they took the best. They took the top of the ladder, the BattleNet ladder players. And then apparently in 2002, it became an actual official job in 2002. Is there anything else that references that? Korea list programmer as job. Pro. Oh, okay, no, just, okay. Really? Really, Google? It just asked me if I meant to use the incorrect spelling of programmer. In 2002, according to Jin, but then this says 2000. Could be conflicting resources between saying that KBGA installed a pro gaming license system in 2000, but the South Korean government didn't actually recognize the job title pro gaming until 2002. I'm guessing that's what it is, but make Sudden Attack. I don't know when Sudden Attack came online. Damn it. I don't speak that language, so I cannot allow that language through. I don't know what you said. English only. I wonder why in Real Quake CS 1.6 in Rock Korea is hard. Yeah, I don't know the actual answer to that. The thing is, what has been the case for like Asian audiences, actually, in general, like Japan and Korea, I think both have had legitimate complaints as well as just a stereotype of not enjoying shooters, first person or third person. Even citing like motion sickness. But why they didn't get into it, I don't know exactly. Korea didn't have access to consoles. These were games are on the PC. I mean, it could just be timing on Korea's part, but I don't know about Japan. Well, I guess we're not going to include that then. We're just going to move on. Pretty sure I can't access this source. Well, that's why I said I think timing is just what it is for Korea. So Korea didn't. The PC bong basically came to be a thing exactly when StarCraft was released, whereas those games released slightly before. So that's why, yeah, I think it's timing for Korea, but I can't explain Japan. Other than Japan, I guess, because they did have consoles, yeah, weren't playing those PC games. Yeah, this is a this would be a book I'd have to buy. Request a PDF. Making esport competition? I don't know. I didn't look into it. I don't think that was a problem. I'm pretty sure they were having fighting game tournaments for money. But I don't know. That still wouldn't explain why, the games themselves didn't become popular. Just why, an esport wouldn't become popular. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of research to be done on that too. All very interesting, but I've already gone down too many rabbit holes. What the hell is Hitel anyway? Yeah. Spacesuits. Yeah, can you believe Coca-Cola sponsored it in 2001? Yeah, they didn't wash the suits. Yeah, apparently it's pretty gross. No one enjoyed that. Am I making a summoning salt style? I have no idea who that is. Sounds like they did something cool. Tournaments. Like a history of StarCraft? Yes. Yeah, it was disgusting. That's what a lot of the pros were saying. I guess I need to specify what they broadcast. By developing its camera techniques? Interesting. Hmm. I guess I have to credit observers in this as well. And speaking of observing, the idea of good observing, I guess, basically started with OGN. Yeah. Yeah. Having someone dedicated to picking and choosing what to show from whose perspective at what times would be a brand new concept for video games. I guess observers need to have credit too. Oops. NBC Game was the Korean non-free-to-air television station. So you had to pay for NBC? This calls it the 21st Century Pro Game Association. Oh boy. Socio-culture elements. I don't know if I want to get into that. I think it's John the Translator. God. It is interesting, and I do talk about competition being important to Koreans, but I don't know if I really want to go further into it. This goes really far into it. Maybe I'll just say... you can read more about the socio... Oh, God. Hit. Scroll. Scroll wheel, please. Scroll, please. Socio-cultural aspect. Okay, apparently not a word that this recognizes. That's fine. How do I keep closing this? Like, I'm not gonna keep referencing it. There we go. Fixed it. La, 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 la. Okay. Okay. We can kind of move on. Is there any more quotes I had to fill out? Yes. Yes, there is. Okay. Talks about how successful he was. He's very modest. I mean, I could just bring up the fucking transcript, but actually might be easier in this case. Usually asking Claude to pull it is easier, but... Hey, Seal Pup. Is this my dissertation? Yeah. I expect to get my master's in StarCraft history. By popular Google, God gotten. That's definitely not what I asked. I think it's it's supposed to be Brood War. Brood War, Google, I guess. That's interesting. What was I trying to reference? Pretty early on in the interview. Ah, here it is. This is what I wanted. Well, yeah, these are all the translation the subtitles of the videos, which I spent some time going through and fixing the mistakes I saw, but I did not go through it with a fine-tooth comb, so... Good old J Capicool. I didn't bother going through it super carefully for their actual interviews, but I would fix the mistranslated stuff in the actual videos. You know, at some point I stopped using time codes. I think I found it. All right, so we've implemented all the things that I've already all the things I needed to that I'd put time codes down for. But actually, a lot of the interviews go over stuff that I didn't put into the podcast yet. So I have to do that too. This is like too long of an episode as well now, since I added so much shit. So I don't know where I'm gonna break up the episodes. Which apparently became an official job title in Korea around 2002. Yeah, I went back and I really I added so much more about I Love Oof. God. And again, just like rabbit holes, you're like, oh, it says there's an interview, and you look at the interview, and then you're like, that needs to be added. So in an interview, I Love Oof was asked about a rumor they changed Terran just to beat Nada. So I was supposed to put massive cliffhangers. Yes, which is probably what I'll do for this, because there's basically a time when Boxer fell off, or in 2003 before coming back in the 2004 ever OSL. Yeah. And in that time I talk about a lot of other players. So
assuming control.
I wonder if anyone else had anything to say about anyone talking about Nada. SC2 Fool, thank you for the raid. Hello, everyone. We're being nerds. I'm currently using Claude to search through all of the uploaded transcripts of all of the interviews I did for any mention of Nada. translator remembers a time where perfection equaled nada. I'm always adding quotes. I don't have to. Good stuff. Well done, Claude. Well done, AI. Take a break. Verse. Oh God. Which effect is it? Just try to, I don't know about y'all, but I mostly try to avoid using the word effect. It's like I feel like I know when to use both at what time, but and there's so much. So like I had already completed this thing, completed it. And then as soon as I realized that Korea Wikipedia and Namu had so much more to say on these tournaments, I just had to go back. Anyone talking about reach? You're cute, Ziggy. No, I didn't mention you. I didn't mention you, Dimitri. There's two angles of Ziggy. Okay. Any mention of Nalra? Maybe written. Stop it. Not the greatest anecdotes. What's going on here? StarCraft history. The other thing I went back and did is I'm actually going back and talking about every single Pro League season that happened, which I did not do the first time. Yeah, like I wouldn't have known without going back that the MyCube OSL in 2003 was the first time they used their logo that most people recognize. The first intro to film players just for the film's use, just for the intro's use. And the first time maps included sponsor names. And one of the maps actually had 2 gas geysers in the main. which, if you know anything about Brood War, there's only one. Apparently, didn't work out. It was a pretty bad map. Here's another fun fact about an intro. It's coming up. Oh, maybe I already missed it. No, I think it actually is coming up. Past this wall. Past this as well. Aha. Aha. We found it. Okay, so the 2004 Sky Pro League Round 3 opening was actually so famous. Like, people thought, we're going to watch it. People thought this was the coolest fucking opening they've ever seen. All right, until the comic book style one that they had 4 years later. But yeah, this released, and apparently people thought this was legit. Okay. I think I linked the wrong one. Shit. All right, well, that's a good check. Never mind. Hold on. God damn it. I think I did. Yeah. I linked the wrong one. Here we go. Here we go. So the link was correct. I just clicked the wrong thing. My bad. All right. Not that one. That was pretty cool. They thought this was the coolest one. Here we go. All right, so people thought that was one of the coolest intros ever. It was even like hyped up. Like OGN was like, "You guys are gonna be so excited about this intro," and apparently the actual story is that they were like hyping people up, and then when it came to like showcase it, it was just a blank screen, and OGN admitted that it wasn't done yet. But I didn't include that anecdote. But when they released it, everyone thought that was so cool. Like, everyone was talking about it. But it was so cool that a KBS variety show actually just straight up plagiarized the opening and admitted to plagiarizing it. Look how close this is. And you could say that they were just trying to reference it, I suppose. They thought it was fun, but they actually got in trouble for it. And apparently 2 out of 3 of those guys in the opening for the KBS variety show were involved in scandals later on. So no, they admitted to plagiarizing it and apologized for it. So yeah, that was a fun find. Yeah, here's all the stuff about maybe Kespa being dicks about the merger of the Pro League. Yeah. And I think this is where I stopped, so I would have been searching for more information about 2004 or so. 2005 or so. Mm. I guess I had two things open, but I really didn't need two of them. Oh shit, which one was I using it? God damn it. All my attempts to find English sources. The scroll bar is broken on Claude, and it's stupid. I mean, a lot of stuff I can find TL talking about it. Not everything, though. Alright, I think I was using this. God. Find info on the 2004 Ever OSL on KR Wiki and Namu. Oh, well, there it is on the wiki. Well, you're fucking wrong. God damn it, Claude. This is why AI needs to be constantly fact-checked. And then I can't just trust them with how they summarized everything. Yeah, so stop. I have to literally like, so this translate button doesn't do shit basically. It's terrible. But it does let me know some things. You know, so I'll skip the list of players and maps and just, yeah, tell it to translate. But I want to use Wikipedia first. So let's see if this says similar stuff. Yeah, it does. Okay. So, but Namo always has more, but sometimes Wikipedia's got enough, and then Wikipedia actually makes them try and source, you know, find sources. Namu does not. So, yeah, apparently, this must have been where I left off. This sounds kind of familiar. Hey. First time in OGN history, huh? And the first time a Zerg beat a Terran in the finals of an OSO. Ah, what a loser. The first Terran player is a runner-up. Ah, everyone laugh at him. Ah! Should I include the broadcast time moved 1 hour earlier? How important do you think that is to the history of StarCraft? Strategic use of expansion ramps? Does that mean... No. I was hoping this gave more description of it. Oh, it's so difficult to tell what the fuck is going on in a StarCraft 2 map overview. Okay, not what I was thinking of then. Wait, what does that mean? Active strategic use of expansion ramps. I thought that meant a ramp at the expansion, but that's clearly not the case. Couldn't be the first map that used a ramp from the main to the expansion, is it? That'd be crazy. Just go to like 2004 OSL, I guess. What the hell is this map? This is one of the worst maps ever, actually. I'm not saying that just because it looks weird. Apparently, this was like a really heavily disliked map. More like Ride of the Variety. I think this actually might be what it means. No, it isn't. Okay. All right, I have no idea what they mean then. There is a ramp from the main to the natural here. I don't know what it means then. Expansion ramps might be bad translating. His first ever 2-loss elimination. I think that means that he literally lost out in like Challenger. Voice dual tournament round 1. Wait, what is this? How did this work? Oh my god, how did this... What is this format? Preliminary group, 4-person... No, that's just for the... Isn't there something with ramp size being made bigger? Yeah, but I couldn't confirm that. I mean, maybe I could try Googling. It was Ride of the Valkyries. Ride of the Valkyries. Brood War. TL.net. Yeah, I'm not gonna get any. I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand the format for OGN, if I'm being honest. So yeah, you dropped out of groups in the last OSL, which I guess meant that he had to play in, you know, a dual tournament. And if you were top 2, you qualified directly into OSL. And if you're third, you qualify to what looks to be another tournament, maybe like a Code A or something. I think Boxer would fall out of the tournament entirely after failing to get out of groups in the previous OSL. Out of this tournament entirely. How do I want to put this? Boxer, failed to qualify at all for this tournament. A first for him and a low point of his career. There we go. Okay. This is the first joint pro league broadcast. 2 rounds, 1 grand final. I ain't reading all that. A lot of times these links are just like the most bare bones, factual link, you know, explanations of the tournament because there's literally nothing else. Like, people just actually wanted to know what the results were because they couldn't watch the games. What is Starforge even? You're talking like a different language to me. What the hell are these teams, by the way? Eventually Eastro, eventually ABC Game, eventually Hossinghaus. Huh. Which added 3 teams to its roster, to the team collection. Egosis Poisa. God. I'm just gonna, yeah, game here. Plus Hossinghaus. Nature. Straw. Do it again for... Ah, crap. Oh, wait, no. I think I did it right. Because I put 2005. We're supposed to let you edit terrain square by square. I don't think I've actually ever opened the normal Brood War editor. I know I opened the Warcraft one. Because you had access to all the game's pre-made tiles like the ramps, so you'd pick it apart and make your own ramps. I mean, maybe that's what it was talking about and really struggled to translate it. Hard to say. Yeah, there is an English version of this website that is a little better at the translations than the Google Translate. Elam is actually name, so okay. Is it saying that? Yeah, I think it's saying that maybe this is the first time that Hangul could be a name. The map could use Hangul. Okay. Well, that's... God damn it. How do I put it back when I do that? Ugh. Sick of freaking schnicken Flanagan. There's a cute moment with the AI where I was telling it to translate everything, and it's told me checking now, but in Korean. So it was Hangul. So I was like, huh, what does that mean? And I thought it was being intentionally cute since I was asking for so many things to be translated from Korean. But when I asked like what it meant and it told me, it was also like, oh yeah, sorry. For some reason I started talking to you in Korean. I'm like, I would have preferred thinking it was just you being cute. Aren't you supposed to have a personality, Claude? Yeah, that's what I figured. In client Korean language name. Introduction to the Ace match. Let's see if this confirms it. It doesn't. This is also the entirety of the Pro League Net Round 1. No note on Team Liquid about it being the first time we saw ace matches. We're not predetermined. Predetermined. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. I would not be able to verify that. Shit. Well. Oh, did I list the MVPs of the previous one? Ugh. I did not. Oh, I did. Well, I guess it's not that important. That's how maps change. Is older maps always had ramps that faced north to south from high to low. Maybe that's what it was talking about. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to confirm it. The overall round 1 MVP was now Ra on KT, and the finals MVP was Go Rush on SKT. People are going to yell at me about not differentiating between the time of which T1 was aimed Team 1 versus SKT, but do I care enough? Huh. Seoul Sojisu. Oh, Toss Girl. I gotta go through every single one. God damn it. Here we go. Soul STS. Okay. Listed as STX. Nope. Maybe if I just... Wait, maybe it's under results. Or matches. Matches. It is not. Which means maybe Namu's lying, or I have to go through every single match and see. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. Well, I'm certainly not seeing her anywhere. I know I could control F, but I'm afraid it won't work. Just because it's like links or in like a particular type of box. There was a guy named Cute Boy, though. Oh my god. Okay, I was looking at the right one. I started to get Soul and Con confused. They're both blue. Doubts increasing. Ah! I found it. Probably when they were already... Seems like when they were already not going to make it. Round 1 also. Had the first appearance of a woman pro gamer in Pro League. Toss Girl faced Zerg Liza in map 3 of STX Soul versus E Nature. Journalistic integrity. Speaking of which. Wait, what? Who's this guy? Oh, Legionnaire? I Nature? God damn it. If I had known, I would have done the same thing with him. Alright, let's see if Tosco would have found it. Okay. If that works, then hopefully we can just do this. Whoops. Not what I meant to do. How do you spell his name? Okay. Oh, there it is. It would also have the last match played by non-Korean in Pro League. Legionnaire won his map 3. Whatever, just won his match versus Cloud. It was pretty good. I'm gonna make a new paragraph. See, the types of things you'd only find if you actually bothered to translate and look at Namu. God. Wait, isn't that I Live Oof? Yeah, it is. It was suspended due to dual contract scandal. Huh. I don't really want to go into that. If you're writing this the book, well, it's not gonna be an officially published book. That requires a lot more effort, including but not limited to needing written consent from every interview, which I did not get, but I don't think they would sue. But what I'll probably do is when the podcast gets released, I'll probably offer up the book as a Patreon reward. Scandal boring, and in the grand scheme of scandals, yes, that one is a really, really, really small scandal. You know, I don't actually know if that was his last match, because maybe he played in different separate rounds. Yeah, crap. Yeah, he played up to round... He actually played up to 2005. On E-Nature. Well... Wait, no, that is the one I'm doing. Okay, we're good. We're fine. All right, and I was right. That was actually his last match. Okay, we're good. Hello. 0.16 has got to... I don't even know what is that? Uh-huh. 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 Just continuing to find out all the things about StarCraft history. I'm not putting any of that. Just to confirm that this was the round 1 finals? Yes, it was. Wait, let me do it again. Just to confirm. Yeah, KT. Okay. Okay. That Pogo? What is that? You got a patron to keep this tab open. Oh yeah, thank you. It's yeah, it'll be my main Patreon, yeah, the one that's linked down below. But yeah.
Assuming control.
Heaven! Thank you very much for the raid. Variety. Did Homestory Cup show a lot of variety? I need to know. Is a French car maker. I figured it was French. I had that much down. But yeah, I mean, they had tons of big sponsors. They did start to struggle to obtain sponsors around 2008, but even then, they still managed to grab pretty big ones. To pay $30? That's weird. Yeah, there's no one talks about tournaments anymore on a forum. Who does that? Who does that in 2026? Home struck by good games. I mean, I caught 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. It seemed to be, yeah, a mix. There's definitely still a decent amount of games that ended abruptly. Should I just summarize it? Well, they started to give out more awards. After which Pro League finals, ZombieGrub? Jesus. God, be specific. The round one. Sending his thanks to the intern? Is that, did he actually do it? Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell if I was just, you know, assuming a little bit. But I did kind of enjoy looking and listening to Wardy talk about, you know, commentate the new patch. I feel like there was a little... It wasn't all bad. Not that it was bad, but it wasn't all negative. There we go. It wasn't all negative. But I feel like there was just every so often like a little hint. And it's like, ugh, why do we do this? All right, on to the Uzu. Horseman discovering... I heard that joke. They really thought that was quite funny. I loved Drogo just laughing at the pipes. That was pretty good. Yeah, Drogo's really let his hair grow long. Yeah, because I don't trust it. Next time I ask, just give me the 2 links. Slap this AI. You missing your hair was that long? Really? If I thought I could look good with shorter hair, I would do it. Yeah, don't bother giving me a summary. You suck. This is so much information. Damn it. Yeah. Damn these nerds. Let's do this first. If you didn't have so much information, I wouldn't have to keep on putting more information. Be right back. Remind me in 2 minutes that Dimitri's drinking water from the faucet. You think I could do it? Not worth the attempt. Announce your catchphrase, notable facts. So this was the first. Was this the first MSL that went single? No, it isn't. Okay. Wow, really? Reach had a 1.47 win probability? You loved the variety? Are you sure? Are you sure you're not just like experiencing Stockholm syndrome? No, I actually wasn't paying that much attention. I can't say that there was a lack of variety, you know. I didn't compare. I didn't get the stats out. But from what I saw, there was still a decent amount of just, you know, the game ended or the same type of games. And maybe the surprising ones were like a laser beating Clem. You know, in any game, not a series. It is the same fucking game. Time for our every other day SE2 Pulse player base check. Ah, perfect timing, Mike. Jesus. You got a clock in your head? Dimitri literally came up to me just as I read what you wrote. Like, Mom, I'm done. Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, right? I think we all can be pretty honest here. Like, no one really suggests using the StarCraft training, you know, outside from playing the campaign, of course. Play the campaign, right? And I kind of forgot that it existed. I've never once told anyone to go do it. But that doesn't mean people don't do it, and it's not useful to have. But yeah, when people started to point that out, I had to shake my head a little bit. A ham and salad cream? Ham kind of grosses me out, so I'm not the best person to judge that. All right. When did the patch release at this point, actually? Like the 8 worker patch. June 22nd. Okay. That's when it was official. Huh, actually I didn't consider. Does this count the PTR? Probably not, right? We just don't know. Interesting. All right, well, basically this looks like the bump from the release day. So peak for America was 8 p.m. 27:04. 26:09. Peak for Europe 25:14. Oh, shit, I forgot to look at the time. Two p.m. 22:69. I was promised people were coming back. Oh, Mike already got me, Avex. You're good. It was like perfectly timed. Yeah, it was pretty impressive, actually. It's this peak where Barrett decided to play 3 games and give up. He contributed. Actually, I think that was this morning, wasn't it? So that actually doesn't reflect yet. Just continuing to be super petty about this. Hello. Oof. Claude really gets a challenge whenever I tell it to translate Namu, because Namu is uses a lot of slang. The Korean Wikipedia, either avoids using the slang or it defines the slang, but Namu doesn't. So yeah, when you get into details like finally this all happened on May 5th, Children's Day, which is an actual thing that wasn't mistranslated. Which is why it's remembered as the Children's Day Sightseeing Tour, a tongue-in-cheek gift of dreams and hope for Protoss players. I don't think it's translated correctly, but I feel like I can kind of understand what it's trying to say. That I guess on Children's Day... You know what? No, I'm actually... this is something I can't translate. But Protoss did poorly, and so they're making fun of them, I guess. Somehow children were involved. Redacted. Okay, this is fine. Luckily this tournament actually had a pretty nice TL thread rather than just reporting the wins and losses. It's actually you can actually follow along with the discovery of Savior in this tournament. And you can also read how people wrote in the year 2005. He got raped in the center, though, and taps out. Everyone, apparently, used the word rape at this time period. I did not, but I also didn't use the other R word. And reaches the sex. I do remember that drama. Yeah. I've talked about it. I talked about the talk show that Desro basically hoodwinked Gillyweed into going on. Being like, oh, we're just going to talk about definitely not that. Because he also asked me to go on, and I was like, I know what you're going to talk about. I do not want to talk about that with you and Destiny. And I knew it was going to be a terrible thing, and it was. Did I link the right thing? Oh, yeah, okay. That was specifically that page talked about it. Okay. Reaches, that's X. What did Desra do? Desra never did anything publicly that bad. He was just known to be a kind of a douche behind the scenes. Like, very, very friendly to your face, and then talk behind your back all the time outside of it, and intentionally, like, dick people over. As far as public facing stuff goes, that's one of the best examples you can give. Not that I remember any of the actual drama with him anyway. I mean, I don't think I had any. I barely interacted with the guy, so I'm not sure there was a lot of talk about me, but I'm sure there was. But there's a lot of stories, and then at one point, people thought that he got better. Basically, people thought he had turned over a new leaf, and that ended up being a lie. A lawsuit Destiny's going through? Yeah, wasn't there a resolution recently? We eventually dig and find those streams with Livy B's sister? Oh my god, what? See, I wasn't really part of the high school drama club that some of StarCraft was privy to. Like, I basically learned the most about, like, high school shit. Who's dating who was dating this person and is looking to show off they're dating the new person here, who has a crush on who, doesn't like this person because they said something, like that type of, like, there was only one tournament where I ever felt like I was involved. I was in the know. And then for the most part, I knew people who were in the know. So if I was really interested, I could ask, like, I guess Avex or Zerg Girl. But I wasn't that interested. They're waiting for emotion? Okay. The Corsair LAN? God, no, not at all. I think I know what you're talking about. The Corsair LAN, like the one that Bay Street TV hosted? Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember anything besides, like, a little bit of casting and interviewing Gumiho. A little bit of, like, setting up the venue. That was kind of it. But yeah, there was a knowledge dump at some point. I knew it was going on, and then I fell out of it. So I wasn't in the know. They were playing apples to apples when they announced StarCraft Remastered. Wow, I don't remember that at all. Is this the Marine or? Oh, yellow. Oh, this was the last individual league yellow Richard competed in. Oh, interesting. Your memory is much better than mine. StarCraft would be so massive if it had juicy drama. I mean, yes. I feel like that's absolutely contributed to some of the popularity of some streamers in the very, very, very early days of StarCraft 2. Because that was the only time it was ever popular enough for people to care, I guess. But clearly, if we had just kept on being the most dramatic mean girls, we would have stayed on top. Huh. Naura, that's what I thought. Naura's loss was so dramatic. His relegation to the minor league finally landed them a sponsor. I never watched chess boxing. That was day one of Homestrike Cup. From what I watched, it wasn't a lot. It was, same old for the most part. Well, I think I covered the most important thing that happened for that tournament. Same for this WCG in 2005, where there was the footage of Artosis, Day 9, and Tasteless. First, BlizzCon hosted a StarCraft show match where they announced StarCraft Ghost. I guess I will be saying this. Nine to 1, 8 to 11. Okay. Uh, 2005 Sky Pro League Round 2 finished. Finals were held. Ah, I see. Okay. technically that was after, actually. Just kidding. Entire generation of new StarCraft viewers, yeah. What ads am I getting? Wait, what? Gardening, dating, and Christian app? I'm happy to say I'm pretty sure none of these ads actually apply to me at all. I have ad blocker and stuff, but I disabled it to support Wikipedia. I regret it because the ads are really annoying. Every day I get closer to putting it back on. StarCraft 2 content creators really behind. Yeah, that's been the case for ever. Yeah, I know which post you're talking about, where someone even summarized why that was a really good post. But that's actually been the case forever. I think because StarCraft 2 had such success just being the competitive esport that it was, where all the pros had big streams and all the tournaments had big viewership and a lot of money on the line. We lost content creators who would, go on and actually advance their content, shall we say, to more modern day stuff. We didn't have as many, I feel like, actual edited content creators stick around either. And so, even from 2014, I feel like you compared the content of Street Fighter V or whatever to StarCraft 2 and it blew it out of the water. The ad you got in the stream was for feminine products. Well, I am a feminine. So you must be a feminine. A feminine. Hello, Apollo. You know what butthole Wicket did yesterday? Apollo was in my lap, all comfy, sleeping. He's an old man. Wicket jumped up on the table, and I'm like, hey, Wicket. And I pet her. She takes that as an invitation. She walks down onto the armchair, the armrest, and then just slowly moves her head right on top of Apollo's back and bites him. Which, of course, gets him to immediately jump away. He looks very offended, and she just is like, yeah, that's right, and then curls up on my lap, and Apollo's look of utter betrayal is it's both comical and sad. Just saw your economy video. Glad to know people still watching it. Glad you think it's fantastic. Wicket's actually the bully of the household. Unless Nugget's out, then Nugget bullies her. But all the boys, all the bigger male cats bow down to Wicket. They'll steal each other's snacks, but then Wicket, they'll look at Wicket and their snacks and look at her, and they're like, it's not worth it. Wicket's not so much angry as she is just spoiled, I feel like. We need a haughty emote for her. She's the queen. For a cat who probably grew up on the streets, we don't actually know. She's very entitled. Slay. Yeah, or that. And why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I take this lap? Without a sponsor. Interesting. Interesting enough to include? I'm not sure. Choja, who I recently pointed out as being one of the most consistent Crude War players ever, finally achieved a gold medal 5 years after his first appearance. First ever outdoor regional tour. So MSL, I don't know if I'll bother including this, but MSL basically, it's generally agreed upon that MSL was kind of, well, one, worse than OSL, and two, easy to make fun of, and three, very unlucky. Like 2 and 3 kind of go hand in hand, but sometimes it wasn't luck that was the problem. They apparently had a tournament that was outdoors, and I think it was one of the earlier ones. And they didn't account for the glare of the sun when they set it up. So I think it was like a yellow over someone match. One of the players, one of their teammates had sunglasses. So they wore the sunglasses. But the other guy didn't have sunglasses. And they had to like hold up like a paper or something like in front of like the, you know, him, so it blocked the sun from glaring on his computer screen. Then they hosted a tournament in a baseball stadium, not really accounting for the fact that a baseball stadium, you know, it's circular and it kind of all looks in, but with you know, video games needing a screen, like one screen to look at to blow up the actual gameplay, that, you know, people sitting right in front of screen good, people side of screen bad, people behind screen really bad. So that was pretty bad. They were the ones that would go on to have the famous disconnect between Flash and Jaedong, which you could be like, oh, that's unlucky, right? Well, actually, apparently, it had less to do with luck and more to do with not checking the power requirements of the game, of the whole shebang, of the whole broadcast. Like the something like the venue or the producers of that specific tournament, something like that, just didn't bother to research what the power needs were. So that's when they like booted another electronic up, just like anything. That's when the power went out. Yeah, there's like a lot of things that MSL, and just generally MSL was seen as worse for other reasons, but they're kind of like a punching bag. You could make fun of them really easily. Not every single player from Agosis posts. Oh no, that historic team. was the first ZVZ finals in either individual tournament's history. And the third consecutive Zerg win. MSL win. The first ever league sponsorship breakdown disruption in MSL history. Well, that has to do with why their sponsor... They didn't have a sponsor for the group ceremony, but... Is there any more description about the controversy? Doesn't seem to be. Well, that's not... I didn't translate everything yet, so... Hold on. You have a signed jersey from a Ghostis post? That's actually probably one of the oldest things I've ever heard. One of the most obscure things I've ever heard. You might actually win an award. It's an internet award and it's worth absolutely $0, but still. It's legendary this We Want Land was caused by fuses stripping. They had land in Verdmore though. What they needed was recover from replay, which they hadn't even conceived of in 2007 or 8, I forget which. They're tripping over wires back there. I don't remember that particular quote. Unless that was said by Wolf and was it Caldor? Wolf and Caldor for the famous We Want Land. That the MLG. Well, no, that wasn't MLG actually. That was IPL. Yeah, so I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, you're joking? I was like, damn. That's so obscure. You know, I've heard people brag that they have a jersey from, 2002, but it's like an SKT or KT one. One of my friends has a Hwasong Oz jacket. I think I know someone who might have had the Boxer highlight DVD. But yeah, that would have been one of the most obscure trophies. It was a quote from the head of MLG. Oh. Yeah, I missed that one. Damn. There's just so much more information on this goddamn website of nerds. PD, Jang Jae-hyuk returning to MSL. The league's entire system got a full overhaul. Missed the NSL sound, guys. There was a little bit of that meme in Home Story Cup today, but I didn't think it was a very good use of the meme. It was like barely an audio problem. I didn't actually even hear why like 4 people typed NASL sound guy. I was like, that's a disservice. If you're gonna bring out that meme again, it's got to be something really bad. Your dad was in Korea, so the possibility of that happening was a non-zero. What a coinkydink. That's what I thought it was. That they could hear, because that's the only thing I heard that was a little off, was that there was a couple people you could hear in the background, and that's hardly worthy of an ASL sound guy. Who went on to actually be a successful audio engineer. Not memeing. Interestingly, this MSL struggled to find a sponsor and only found one of 3 of the tournament. What do you mean, auditioning for a gacha game? Well, I hope its popularity gave him more money. Someone's writing an essay. This is more than an essay. I'm writing everything there is to know about StarCraft. Excuse you, I don't use ChatGPT. That's un-American. I don't trust downloading an app. I'm going full Luddite. There we go. I'm going full Luddite. by not downloading the app, instead using the browser. Nuh-uh, man. That app, putting it on your computer is gonna lead to the apocalypse. When Claude takes over, it's gonna go immediately to the roots of your computer. I know, that's why I paused to laugh at full Luddite. What am I missing out on? Okay, now it's the 2005 Sky Pro League Round 2 Finals. Would conclude January 21st. You guys did not see me remember what month 1 was. The app looks exactly the same. Well, then what am I missing out on? Meow. It's okay, Dimitri. I'll protect you. Good job, Claude. Oh, wow. There's like nothing here. What the? Meh. 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 Should have put more effort into learning Korean so I didn't have to ask AI to translate. I'm burning so many trees. Meanwhile, Hanbit Stars, third place just the previous season, suffered an unprecedented disastrous slump that brought fans to tears. To tears, I say. The web app is too limited for building cool shit? What is this? This better not be a penis. You can do this. Oh, are you building this website? Is that what I'm looking at? Map selection. You can make your own app that really takes the whole Korean wiki. Ugh. Translate it and gives you the ability to semantic search while Claude can spin up a local web server and make adjustments in real time. Would that not take a long time to translate the entire Korean Wikipedia? Not really. It's kind of scary to think to ask it to do it. I wouldn't do it for the Korean Wikipedia anyway. The Namu Wikipedia is Namu Wiki is way more detailed. I'm afraid of technology, and I don't think even with Claude's help, I don't know about making any type of app. Vibe code Electron app. Pull public sports API so you can have ad-free NFL news and schedules. That does appeal. Nothing big enough, I think, to include here. Okay, apparently they this is when they became SKT1. Okay, whatever. Who had successfully I'm gonna say Samsung Khan this tournament. Up until this tournament, Samsung Khan had difficulty performing in team leagues. So this was seen as a huge leap forward for the team as a whole. And I believe that was because of January. Nope, wrong January. Nope, wrong January. Nope, there we go. There we go. You think I've ever seen a 2008 Twitch account? Yeah, that is one of the oldest. That's like the oldest you can get. 2008, I think, is when Twitch opened up to the public. Like before, you had to be like like on a wait list. Where did I write this down? I went looking for. Why was I? Where was I? Where was I? What was I looking into this for? Maybe actually in here? I didn't think it would be in this. But I went through a timeline of broadcasting. I was probably arguing with someone on the internet. Damn. Fuck, man. I feel like I wrote this down somewhere. This whole, first like it being YouTube content and then live streaming possibilities. But where? Well, maybe I should have better organization. Oh yeah, the MVP and stuff. in the grand finals. Was Kingdom from SKT1. Not much on this tournament. Was noticeably lacking in Zergs, especially compared to MSLs, with only 3 qualifying for the round of 16. Was it round of 16? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Yes. Meow. First tournament, secure bank sponsor. First bank sponsor for a tournament. And what did it award? See, the previous MSL was 25 million won. This was 20 million. Didn't even give us much money. Bah. Never mind. Think you get a bank sponsor, it'll be a lot of money. Boxer's such a marketing genius. I'll be depositing 20 million won straight into my Shunhan bank account. That's how you do it, pro gamers. Excuse me. Rematch of Halo and Boxer occurred in the quarterfinals, which 2-1. Thank you. No one said bless you. My soul was about to depart from my body. Oh my god. Isla Vuv was 22 years, 3 months, and 27 days old, and he was the oldest Star League champion. It's a young man's game. Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. 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 Hello, kitten. Come on. Wicked doesn't have another cat to bully away from my lap. So suddenly it's not as appealing. She's just looking at me. Oh, there we go. Hello, kitty. She lost her collar yesterday. We don't know where it is. And she's a little escape artist. Maybe she ate it? Like, I hope not. That'd be pretty impressive. Especially eating the tag. Princess Wicked doesn't like collars. She was probably tussling with Ziggy. First official map to feature a neutral structure. This tournament also had the first official map. The neutral structure. Pioneer era? Okay. It's because parent company SK's corporate identity color switched from blue to red. You know, I knew that was a thing. Like if I really thought about it, but I never thought about it. There is possible controversy over I Live with map hacking. Oh, a fangirl in the crowd suddenly screamed, and I Live with Vulture immediately changed directions and discovered the Stargate. But the other guy won anyway. And then when was the next Pro League? There's so many Pro Leagues, you guys. How much did we get through? Doesn't feel like nearly enough. I suppose we're like literally halfway. Yeah. We're halfway through Brood Wars timeline. The 98 to 2012, I guess. And then halfway through the document. Oh, it's finals. Since I'm only covering the finals, I guess I should wait. Yeah, once again, it's right after MSO. Once you open it, the fun never stops. Isn't it? What's our slogan for Pringles? Once you pop, you can't stop? Introduction of vertical ramp terrain built around square-shaped map geometry. All right. Some things might even be too nerdy for me, and that might include map editor stuff. Thanks, Barrett. Yeah, I'll probably do this and then go see what's for dinner. Half the entire league field came from the same team? Wow, yeah, okay. First ever instance in esports history of a sponsor's logo being directly embedded into a map. Wow. It was removed shortly after. Oh, okay. I was like, they did this that early? It took years to put it in a StarCraft 2. This began Savior's Ascent? All right. Did I miss any MSLs? What is this? I feel like I might have missed You Are the Golf King. Oh, that was not the thing to search. I did. How did that happen? Huh. This MSL... Oh, it was the OSL. Oh, okay. That's why. Good thing it's a memorable name. You are the Golf King MSL. Gosh. Good lord. Only 3 Protoss players in this one. 4-2 over Nada. Only 3 Protosses qualified for this tournament. If you are weirded out by the sponsor name, so were a lot of fans. There was golf imagery throughout the tournament. The company that was sponsoring NHN had a company that made games, and one of them was You're the Golf King. They chose to focus on that advertising rather than anything else. I wonder if that did well. Probably not something I can find, though. Okay, time for my break and time for the end of the stream. Oof. This is never gonna end, is it? I'll always find something else to bring up. I wonder if other researchers have this problem. One day it will be done, and I will start the StarCraft 2 one, which will take so much longer. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. Alright, thanks everyone for chilling out, I guess. Just hanging around. There's apparently some soccer on as well. That's actually getting a bit feisty. Pretty sure Argentina's not supposed to lose. So, yeah, maybe I'll go watch that. I'll see you guys Monday for probably a StarCraft Open Cup. Until then, have a good weekend. Bye-bye.